What is up, MMA community? I just want to let you guys know that this podcast may have some graphic language that may not be suitable for all audiences. The listener discretion is advised. Welcome to another episode of the BP and Mean Gene MMA show. As always, I'm BP, and joining me on the left side of your screen, Mean Gene.
What's up, Brian?
All right, so we're just coming off of Deiveson Figueiredo versus Benavidez 2. Kind of just an outstanding dominant performance from Figueiredo. I felt like Joseph Benavidez kind of came out hands high, reactive, which fed right into to Figueiredo's strengths, which is his striking. Obviously, he has a good ground game, but Benavidez, like I said before the fight, Benavidez, his only chance, his path to victory was to kind of grind out a decision over Figueiredo, who's a way more dangerous fighter. And he usually pressures all of his opponents. He pressures. So him being reactive, I think, was just a horrible game plan going in. When you're going up against a more elite striker than you are, it just allows him to pick his shots, especially when you're not a dangerous puncher. Like, for example, like Romero, it wouldn't have been a good idea for him to charge at Adesanya, but for him to be reactive, it's okay because Adesanya knows how much power Romero has, so he's not going to go after him. But when you're Benavidez, you're just going to get pieced up all day because there's no risk to piecing you up. So, I don't know. Either way, I thought it was a great performance from Figueiredo. I'm really excited to see him reign at flyweight and wait for his next title defense. What do you think of the main event, Gene?
Yeah, it went the way that I thought it would go. I thought Figueiredo would beat him. You know, there's a reason why he was a minus 230 favorite going into the fight. Even with Benavidez in the previous fight winning round one, which I thought was, I personally thought was crazy given the fact that Figueiredo had him in some compromising positions, mainly that armbar, but or armbar attempt, I should say. But yeah, I was shocked by Benavidez's approach as well. I thought for sure he would come out aggressive, knowing what happened in the last fight, and knowing that he won that round. All three judges gave him the first round in the first fight, being aggressive. He was in Figueiredo's face and wasn't letting him breathe. And like you said, you want to do that with a dangerous striker like Figueiredo. If you're going to allow a fighter like that with that type of striking ability and that type of striking power, to just sit comfortably and just kind of prod forward and pick his shots, he's going to eventually connect on something that's going to put you out or at least hurt you, And I was just surprised by that game plan by Benavidez. I thought he'd go back to what he did in the first one, except not winging punches. In the first fight, his head was out in front of his fists and left him open for counter shots. And so I thought that he would correct that a little bit, but I still thought he'd be aggressive, attempt to wrestle a little bit and do things of that nature. But yeah, man, he just looked super timid. He's allowing Figueiredo to bring the fight to him. And that's exactly what Figueiredo did. Dude had some precision punching and some heavy hands, knockout power, and you saw that in display in that first round. It was a 10-7 round, and yeah, man. I don't know what to say. Benavidez is he is who he is. He's a bridesmaid. He's like the true definition of a bridesmaid. When it comes to title shots, and I was on that end. Hey, I feel bad for him. I think he's a good guy. I didn't like what he was saying leading up to the fight. It seemed like he was making excuses when it came to headbutts and things of that nature, as if Figueiredo was in the wrong. He's the one that initiated the headbutt. But other than that, Benavidez is a good guy. I like him a lot. It's shitty that he didn't win. He couldn't get over the hump. I think this was his last chance at winning a title. But to quickly jump over the Figueiredo, amazing performance. It looks like he can reign. I mean, it looks like he can hold that title for a while at the flyweight division, because there's just not a lot of guys that can really compete. You saw Pantoja, and we'll get to him later, but he didn't perform really well. Askarov, who beat Pantoja, he's going to have nothing for. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think he's going to have anything for Figueiredo. He's just a pressure fighter. He was laying on. We'll get to that in a second. I just don't think he has anything. We can get to that later. But yeah, man. Just quickly, I'll say I'm happy that he won. It sucks that he won that first fight with a TKO, and he couldn't get the title because he missed weight. So I wanted him to come out in that second fight and just prove that he won that fight. Prove to everyone that, hey, I deserve to be champion, that I can make weight. And that's what he did. So super impressed by him. I think, man, just super impressed by him. I think the guy has all-around skill and can hold that title for a long time.
Totally agree. I am going to respectfully disagree with you, me and Gene. I think the flyweights are looking better than they ever have. And mainly just going through today, looking at the top 10. I mean, they have a slew of contenders, kind of a sneaky division right now coming up because no one watches the flyweights. But I do think they can flourish now. They got Brandon Moreno, who's a beast. Kai Kara France is still coming up. And Askarov, I definitely agree with you. If Askarov tries to strike with Figueiredo, he'll get knocked out quickly. That being said, Askarov presents a huge submission threat for Figueiredo, whether he's on top or on bottom. So Figueiredo would have to keep that fight standing. And I think that might be the next fight. I think Askarov might get that title shot next.
Yeah, but that's the thing with Figueiredo is that he's good.
He's a beast.
No, I'm saying in the sense of submissions. The guy, he's good at jiu-jitsu. And Askarov, honestly, man, is just he was looking like Khabib a little bit in the sense of, just pressure, lay on you, relentless, in your face, not in the sense of doing damage like Khabib would do, when he's pressuring you and got you on the ground. But, he's just relentless. And Pantoja just his gas tank. He had no gas tank in that fight. That's what killed him. But I don't know. I mean, yeah, Brandon Moreno is good. Alex Perez is another one as well.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I think the fight to make is Alex Perez versus Kai Kara France. They're both coming off of losses. It works perfect.
Yeah, and what's his name? Pavia too, who just fought a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
He looked good, but yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see what happens in that division. I'm sure Askarov will probably get that next fight.
Yeah, it's either him or Moreno.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what Moreno's record. If he lost his last one, I thought he did, but I don't know. I'll figure it out.
So real quick, I missed. Alex Perez is not coming off a loss. Maybe it wasn't Kai Kara.
No. Alex Perez beat Formiga.
Yes.
And I think he beat him in March, and the card right before they, the card down in Brazil during COVID. But
yeah.
I think Brandon Moreno, I thought, did.
Maybe that's what I was trying to.
Anyways, whatever. We'll look while we're talking.
Yeah, so Askarov is number 7 right now. Obviously, that changes as soon as the rankings update after beating the number 4 in Pantoja. So that's what it was. I was thinking Brandon Moreno gets the title shot, considering he's number 3.
Moreno's the one that beat Formiga. I got him mixed up. So Brandon,
they both did. You're right.
Yeah, but Formiga was the one that I was talking about that was in Brazil right in the middle of the pandemic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Moreno.
Won 3 in a row. He had a draw against Askarov. So, yeah, man. I mean, he's right there. I mean, they could give it to him, too. That'd be a good fight. Because he looked good against Formiga, man. I was impressed by him.
Yes. And Brandon Moreno and Askarov as well have they fought, but they have a draw. So they can always fight again. I don't think that's the fight to make right now, but yeah, I can definitely see Moreno either getting one more fight and fighting. It'll really depend how everything times up. How everything times up. Either way, my point is there's actually some stuff going on at flyweights, which is really good and exciting to see for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, I would just I'd match up Perez and Moreno is what I would do on the undercard of Figueiredo and Askarov. If they give Askarov the fight, I mean, maybe they give it to Moreno, who knows? But either way, it should be, those three, one of them faces Figueiredo, and then the other two face each other is what I think should happen.
Yeah, I'm totally good with that.
So anyways, but I'm just happy that division actually has a title holder now. I'm happy it's Formiga, I'm happy it's Figueiredo. Because he won that first fight, he just didn't get the title, so he comes back and then fucking dominates even more in the second fight. So I'm just there's no question about it. That guy, he put a stamp on it. It was an impressive victory, man. It was impressive.
It really was. And speaking of impressive, let's go back to let's go to the co-main event with Jack Hermansson versus Kelvin Gastelum. This was a perfect executed game plan for Jack Hermansson. Again, like I was mentioning before the fight, it's a hard fight because of how durable Kelvin Gastelum is. So you don't want to, unless you're looking to go to decision, you don't want to just stand up and fight with Kelvin Gastelum because you're not knocking him out. I mean, we saw Darren Till go against him. We saw Adesanya go against him. He took giant shots from Adesanya and still was able to get that fight to decision. Obviously, that was the fight of the year last year. But either way, the main thing coming from this fight is Hermansson executed that game plan of grabbing the heel hook and submitting Kelvin Gastelum. If you want to finish Kelvin Gastelum, it's got to be done on the ground. And that was perfect. Hermansson looked great in that grappling. And to be honest, Kelvin Gastelum looked like he had no idea how to defend the heel hook.
Mm-hmm. Well, he didn't. Yeah,
no.
He just sat there. Yeah. He didn't try to roll. He didn't try to roll with it. He didn't try to immediately kick off the guy's butt. You know, those are the two ways that you defend it, and he did none of those.
And that wasn't even a super, I guess, locked in grip heel hook. It wasn't like, oh shit, that you can keep rolling and you're not getting out of this. He was very close. His heel was just on the inside of his elbow. It was if he would have known just slightly how to get out of that, just rolled once, his leg is free. He didn't have a good grip on that submission, but once he allowed it, I feel like, like you said, Kelvin just sat there. He's like, I think he didn't think it was much of a threat until it was.
Yeah, and I think that speaks to just the evolution of MMA right now. You're seeing a lot of guys going after those heel hooks and leg locks and things of that nature. And majority of guys don't know how to defend it, what to do. And you're seeing a lot of finishes. I mean, shit, you saw that, we'll get to that too with Lipinski with that knee bar, but you're seeing a lot of victories via, leg locks, knee bars, manipulating the ankle, whatever it is, just manipulating the legs in general. And a lot of fighters don't know how to defend it or get out of it.
Yeah.
And, man, it was an impressive victory by Hermansson. I had Hermansson. I didn't think it was going to go that way. I mean, what I thought he was going to do is just kind of use his strength in his grappling with Kevin Gastelum. Let Kevin Gastelum get in on him and then try to take him down or get him against the fence. And you saw that immediately. Kevin Gastelum threw a right and then a left. Hermansson ducked under it, wrapped up the body, took him down. Now, Kevin Gastelum had an amazing reversal.
Yeah, that was a great reversal.
Yeah, it was amazing. And got on top. But just in general, that was the game plan. And you saw Hermansson try to execute that within the first minute. Yeah. And that's how I thought he would win the fight, as long as he just avoided that left hand. And that first left hand was crazy hard, but he did avoid it and went for that takedown. So you saw what the game plan was. I think if it would have kept going on, who knows what happens. But I think Hermansson would have, beat him with the grappling. But you never know. But at the end of the day, quick submission. I mean, so now he's ready to go right away. Took literally no damage.
Yeah.
And, yeah, man, it's going to be interesting to see what the UFC does. They need contenders in that division. They have a big fight coming up this weekend with Till and Whitaker in that division. So I wonder if Hermanson gets the winner of that. I don't know. I doubt if Till wins, it's not going to.
No, Till's got a title shot.
Yeah, I think if Till wins, Till gets the title shot. If Whitaker wins, I could see them give him. No, I can't. I was about to say Hermanson. It's going to be Cannonier. I think the Cannonier versus Whitaker would be the fight that they would make. And then Jack Hermanson, I don't really know. I have to go over here and look at the rankings and see who's up there. But
the Cannonier is going to get Whitaker if he wins, or he'll just get Paulo Costa when he loses.
Paulo Costa. Okay.
Because I don't think he's going to beat Adesanya. But that is a great fight. I can't wait for that fight.
That's the thing. I mean, in that division, there's not a lot of new blood. I mean, you got Uriah Hall facing Romero. I think Romero beats him. If Romero loses to Hall, man, I mean, it's over.
Yeah, that's an interesting fight. Hall has been on a little.
I'm surprised you. Yeah, it definitely. I mean, Yoel, I guess, has lost what, 3 in a row, 4 in a row, something like that. So I mean, I guess I can understand Uriah. Uriah's won like 3 in a row. So I guess I understand that fight. It's a big step up, but man, if Uriah Hall beats him, it's a statement win, and puts him in that top 10, solidifies him in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's no one for Hermanson in the fight. I'm just looking at it right now. You got Cannonier's there, and I do think Cannonier fights Whitaker if he wins.
Mm-hmm.
Till wins, I think they immediately just fucking fast track him up to the ass whooping he's going to get against Adesanya. If Adesanya beats Costa, they're going to it's the same situation that they did with Tyron Woodley. They gave, they fast forward Till to Woodley. Hey, let's capitalize on this guy. Won 1 or 2 fights in a row. Let's jump on him. He got his ass whooped. I think the same thing is going to happen. So I don't suggest Till, if he wins, moving up. I'd like to see Till versus Cannonier, but and it would work out. Here's the other thing too. It would work out too, timing wise, because right now, and we'll get to this later after we're done breaking down the card, but it looks like Costa and Adesanya might fight in September.
Yeah.
So, and you got Whitaker and Till fighting next week. So it gives, that's fucking
2 months.
Yeah, 2 months. So it might work out perfectly if you could still do Till versus. If Till wins, you can still do Till versus Cannonier. You don't even have to fast track him to the title, because whoever wins that fight in September, they're not going to be ready until December, I'm sure, to fight. So, yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think having one thing I really do want to get back to the leg locks really quick, but to finish off that discussion is it would work, but I don't think they do it. I think Till then just waits until he fights Adesanya, and I agree it's going to be an ass whooping. Assuming Adesanya beats Costa, but if it's Till versus Adesanya, it's just Adesanya is everything Till is, but better. I mean, he's just a phenomenal kickboxer and Muay Thai guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to fucking pick him apart. That's what's going to happen, man. So I would like to see Till get one more in. But anyways, Jack is just kind of – he's in the same position he was before, where it was like, this guy's good. He's won 3, 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Let's give him Cannonier. Cannonier knocks him out. He drops down, and then he comes back and gets a big win against what's his face? Just against Kevin Gastelum. And but he's still kind of in that same spot again that he was before, where it's like he probably needs another fight or two, but there's just no one to fight. That's the issue. But
yeah.
Well, anyways, it was an impressive win by him. I'm happy that he won. I had him winning, so obviously it was nice to see him win. But I like Hermanson. I think he's got some skills. But
so real quick, I just want to say something real quick about the leg box, and you can continue this discussion as well if you're interested. But I feel like in I believe it's 2014. Yeah, 2014, Ryan Hall really started introducing leg locks on a wider scale. Like he showed how effective they can be in MMA if you're able to do them correctly. And right now, since around then, in the jiu-jitsu realm, leg locks have been the new thing. Like leg locks are everywhere. 10th Planet is super good with leg locks. And your Craig Jones, that's his specialty, is the heel hook and the leg lock. And he's a top grappler right now. Same thing with Gordon Ryan. But all these jiu-jitsu players, they're all specializing in these leg locks. Because leg locks are the most sophisticated form of jiu-jitsu. They're the hardest thing to defend. You're in a 50-50 position, but when you get them in, they're super hard to. Like I said, they're hard to defend, and they're not relatively that hard to grab either. Especially if you're going against someone who doesn't know what they're doing. So in MMA, they can be extremely useful, especially when you get the person to the ground, because they can't sit up and start hitting you like a lot of positions, like a lot of chokeholds where you can get hit in the body and stuff. When it's the leg lock, these guys, they'll sit up, and they can't sit up because you got their legs. You're in a 50-50 position. Either way, I don't need to ramble on, but I don't need to ramble on, but I just feel like we're really seeing that transfer over from where it's been a trend in jiu-jitsu for a while. It's finally transferring into MMA. They're figuring out how to use it effectively in MMA. We're going to see even more and more of that. And there might be a few-year period where it's almost undefendable. Like a lot of these guys, you'll see the top guys who should easily win fights. They get stuck in the leg lock from some tricky jiu-jitsu guy or girl, and that's it. And it might just be like one of those bet killers that we'll see in a while, or for a few-year trend until everyone catches up with it.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I mean, natural progression, evolving of MMA,
Yeah.
Whether it's wrestling, whatever it is. Right now, it's a feinting. That's the number one thing with the leg locks and the calf kicks coming up right behind it. But the feinting, I mean, like Adesanya, Volkanovski, they're on a different level, and people just haven't caught up. Now, obviously a lot of fighters do feint and try to draw their opponents into certain positions so they can capitalize. But right now, you see who the best is at doing that shit. Even John Jones is pretty good at that.
Yes.
But yeah, now what's coming up next is definitely the leg locks. The calf kicks are huge. So yeah, no, I agree with you. I wouldn't be surprised if you just see a bunch of victories via leg locks, knee bars, ankle locks, things like that.
Yeah, I totally agree. So moving on, we'll go just down the card here. We had Fiziev put on a clinic against Jacasey. I knew that fight would go to decision. I didn't think it would go that way. I had Jacasey in the fight, but wow. Yeah, Fiziev just, like I said, put on a clinic. It was a striking clinic in that fight.
Yeah, super impressed by him. Man, a lot of it seems to be the common theme with Yaz Island. A lot of these no names, UFC newcomers are putting on shows, man. It's insane. I'm writing these names down. I got a little list going of these fighters. These guys are like legit contenders, I mean, contenders in the division. You feel like, they can crack the top 15, within a fight or two. I mean, that's how impressive their victories have been. So, and he's on that list. Fiziev, the dude that's fucking fighting two times in 2 weeks. Yeah. Another guy we'll get to later on the card is
Zarukian.
Yeah, Zarukian. That Leslie guy or whatever the hell his last name was from the last card. There's a lot of guys, man, that we're getting introduced to that are putting on some impressive performances, and it just goes to show you the depth and the level of competition in the UFC, man. It's no fucking joke, So.
Yes. And again, there's just these trends, and these younger guys. Whenever there's a trend going on, these younger guys can come up, like you're saying with the feints. Perfect example of using the feints was Fiziev in that fight. It was just elite kickboxing. He set him up for the nasty body kicks. I would have wilted on the first one. Disgusting body kicks. I can't believe Jacasey was able to take those, as many as he did. But again, Fiziev, this guy not even in the top 15, showing phenomenal feints. which is like you said, it's not necessarily like a new trend. They've never done feinting before. Neither is heel hooks. You saw heel hooks in UFC 1 or UFC 2. But it's this new trend of truly introducing it into the modern MMA system. And it's really, if you figure it out, you can do really well with it.
Yeah. Obviously, with a lot of these guys, him being a striker and in the fight primarily taking place on the feet, obviously you want to see if he has good takedown defense and if he's able to, handle a wrestler when he does get taken down. But yeah, he looked incredible, man. He got that $50K for fight of the night, and I was impressed. I mean, obviously he's a talented kickboxer coming over. He had success in kickboxing, and it showed in this fight, man. He picked Jacasey apart, and like you said, those body shots were. I don't even know how Mark stayed up that whole time, man. I mean, he took like in one round. And within like 1 minute, he took like 3 fucking nasty body shots. And I don't know how he stood, but whatever. He stood, and that's why I ended up being fight of the night. He was able to, those guys were going back and forth. With Fizzy, obviously, we're clearly winning the fight, but
yes,
at least it was a good action-packed fight. And yeah, man, impressed by Fiziev.
Yeah, me too. Another person I'm really impressed by was Ariane Lipski, like you mentioned earlier, and everyone's talking about it. That knee bar was disgusting. Carolina was putting her in a really good calf crusher. Lipski it was phenomenal jiu-jitsu. Pulls up Carolina, who had her leg, pulls her up onto her to keep her in her crotch area, then starts turning the knee towards her to be linear, to be straight like this. Then she pulls it up. It was beautifully executed, and just a nasty finish. Like I'm interested to see what injury Carolina has because her knee was bent.
Yeah. Yeah, they haven't said anything yet. I know the X-ray came back negative, but
okay, I didn't think it was a break.
Of course not. Yeah, so the MRI was most important. So
yeah, I feel like it definitely hyperextension, but I didn't know if it tore any ligaments or anything like that.
Yeah, it was impressive. I mean, I really don't know what else to say besides that. It was an impressive victory.
Yeah.
She got $50K too, so
she took a page out of Henry Cejudo's book and made her bend the knee.
She got $50K, right? Yeah. Did she win? Did she get performance?
I don't know, but you just missed a fucking amazing joke.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, she did. Performance of the night. I said she took a page out of Henry Cejudo's book. She made her bend the knee.
Oh, Jesus. You should have just left that. You say that shit again.
No, our audience gets to hear it twice.
Fucking Jerry Seinfeld over here.
Yeah. I got multiple gigs. All right, Askarov beating Alexander Pantoja, again, something we brought up earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, he just kind of pressured him the whole time. Looked great against the number 4 in Pantoja. And Askarov, man, he's 12-0. He's really got a rise coming, especially, like I said, he has that draw against Moreno. Moreno's kind of the dark horse of that division right now. And that's his only time he's ever had a close close call with losing. So
yeah, I was impressed. I thought I had Pantoja, man. Pantoja was a minus 200 favorite. I thought that he would win, and I was surprised that he didn't. And really, what it came down to is I thought Pantoja won that first round because he was threatening submissions, even though Askarov got him down at one point. Or Pantoja helped take him down. It's kind of that fine line where it was like Pantoja kind of wanted to go in the guard. But yeah, man, he just got tired. I mean, that's really what happened. I wonder if who knows? I don't know how long he was out there. I don't know his situation, but it just seemed like he gassed. And once he gassed, man, it was over with. I mean, Askarov, you can clearly see he's got a gas tank. He's going to stay in your face, pressure you. Pantoja, being tired, any fighter being tired isn't going to be able to handle that. But definitely Pantoja, after he kind of blew out. I think he went for a couple submissions in that first round and kind of gassed out. So I don't know. It was disappointing because I had Pantoja, and I legit thought Pantoja was he was the dark horse of that division, is what I thought. But obviously, I've proven to be wrong in that sense. And I think Pantoja will bounce back, especially if he gets back over here to the Western Hemisphere. And but yeah, man, Askarov looked great. Interested, like you say, he's undefeated. Interested to see what they give him next. He is kind of dangerous because he does that pressure fighting. I still think against Figueiredo, I think Figueiredo ends up winning, but I was impressed by Askarov, his victory.
Yeah, I agree with the Pantoja fight as well. One of the biggest things was he gassed his legs out in the first round with that body triangle. And after that, he lost the next 2 rounds. So, yeah, it could just be that. It could be a dumb move. He decided he really went in for that finish, wasn't able to grab the rear naked choke, and ended up gassing his legs out. Which, if you gas your arms out, you can fake it till you make it. If you gas your legs out, I mean, there's not much you can do anymore.
Yeah.
All right, so then we had Dolidze with that nasty knockout knee on Ibragimov. Just came out, was doing pretty well. Ibragimov didn't look bad, but he just wasn't, obviously not as good as Dolidze. And then that disgusting knee, that it was like a knee kick. Like he hit him with the knee while he was throwing a kick. And disgusting. There's that really funny picture of Ibragimov on his knees and looking over his shoulder at we saw that. It looks hilarious. But maybe I'll edit it and put it up above this video.
Well, we will definitely edit that, I'm sure, at some point.
I need to get back on making those.
Yeah. Especially now, you've fallen off.
I have.
This is the man that's been doing it right here when it comes to those memes, and you were doing a great job. The best one was the Max Rashkapov or whatever, in Robert Drysdale. That's my favorite one. But
my favorite one still stands, and I just watched it the other day because I'm that fucking guy. Was Ariel Helwani saying 9
times, yeah.
Talking about Max, but he was saying 9 times, a million times, and then right underneath is his headline that says 9-time MMA journalist.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
But no love from I said no love from the community for it. So
we'll get there at some point. Just keep putting out good content. That's all that matters.
I need to start getting paid, otherwise I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah, especially when you listen to these other. I'm not gonna mention names or anything.
Other buffoons.
It's a big community, but I'll just. Yeah, man. We've talked about this. We don't need to get into this on the podcast, but
some of these guys are buffoons.
Yeah, I think we legit got good content and amazing fucking takes and educated educated thoughts and analysis of MMA, where a lot of these guys are fucking casuals, and even if they're not casuals, they're just idiots when it comes to their analysis or their thoughts on MMA. So, hey, listen, we're newbies here, man. It's a tortoise in the hare. We're trying to be the tortoise legitimately. We ain't trying to blaze out there. I think we just keep putting out that good content. Keep doing what we do. We got a lot of things on the horizon, some things in our back pocket, what we want to do. We've been at a lot of MMA events. We've seen there's a lot of shit we want to get into and put out there. So, anyways, I know I'm going off on a tangent, but
you're good. We got the main thing is we got Mean Gene, who's now constantly in the green with his gold necklace. Yeah, that's all we need. We need Mean Gene with the gold.
Oh man, it's an incredible run. I mean,
33 and 16, I believe you are right now.
16, and I don't know what I started out at, but I know it was under 500, and then lost. And we'll get into this on the next podcast in 3-4 days.
Yeah, 31 and 16. Go ahead.
I was saying we'll get into this on Wednesday or Thursday once we do our breakdown of the Till versus Whitaker UFC Fight Island card. But yeah, man, it's a crazy turnaround. I was like down 5 units or some shit because they got crazy. I was trying to fucking make a statement in with the first betting preview podcast or whatever, and got crazy and made some bets that I wouldn't normally make. And after that loss, I just told myself, hey man, just do you. You know, don't try to fucking be like anyone else. Don't try and come out the gates guns blazing. Just do you. And sure enough, so down 5 units or whatever. I think it was 5 units, maybe 6.
5. Yeah.
Okay, 5 units. And now I'm up, whatever, 1.5, which you're like, oh, you're only up 1.5. Bro, that's fucking, 6.5 units I've won since then.
Yep.
And then my record, too, as well, 33-16. I think I was under 500. So whatever that is, I'm fucking 30 and whatever it is, 25 and some crazy number. So, and I say that not to even gloat. I'll be honest. I'm not even fucking glowing because I don't feel like I am the best. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there in the industry that are fucking 20 times, 50 times better than I am. But for being a newbie, not a newbie in the sense of MMA, but just a newbie in giving my picks and actually having to, put my money where my mouth is, I feel like I'm pretty solid, especially if it's free. It's free. It's not like I'm fucking charging. At some point, if I went, some point maybe I would charge, but I don't even see myself doing that. I like giving it for, giving out to the fans, the listeners for free. So, anyways, we're doing this shit, man. Even the way I'm talking right now, it sounds like, hey, man, I'm fucking hitting 70% on my bets or whatever it is. I'm not even doing that. Like, listen, we're having fun here, but I'm serious about the betting, and you'll see that come out more as we, as the year goes on, as the years go on.
But yeah, like you said though, if you take out the first week, you're up 6.46 units. And again, we'll get more to this on the preview, but yeah, that is an impressive run. So
yeah, and there's bets I haven't even fucking put out. You saw you were with me. I put the rest of what was in my account, Hermanson, because I wasn't doing good up until that point. Got a little crazy. Put everything on Hermanson. Hermanson came through, then doubled up. Put everything that I had on Figueiredo. He came through, and I ended up being up a good amount of money on the night. So, yeah. Anyways,
keep it going.
Yeah.
Then I'm good with that because I'm
trying to add another chain here.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'll do the analysis. I'm not the best picks, obviously. I'm still under 500, 22 and 25. And I definitely don't give the best bets. I'm just a college kid making those fun bets. But, yeah. Either way, I like where we're going, me and Gene.
Yeah.
You know where we're going next is the prelims because now we have Grant Dawson versus Nad Narmani. Narmani? Yeah, Narmani. And not much to say. Grant Dawson did well. Last round got a 10-8 round for sure. This guy's a prospect. Hopefully he just keeps putting together some wins. And him and Chaz Skelly are big prospects, I think, at the division. So, yeah. Those are the two guys who I would look out for at what's it called? I believe he fights at 145. Yeah, 145. So, what do you think of the fight, Gene? If you have anything, we don't even have to go through.
Grant Dawson, I was impressed by him. Now he was fighting another wrestler, another guy that primarily wanted to take it to the ground. And Dawson obviously nullified that with his wrestling background and grappling background. But I was impressed on the feet, and I know he's fighting another wrestler, so let's pump the brakes a little bit. It's not like he was fighting a striker and was piecing him up, but even on the feet, man, it looked like he got better from his last fight. Throwing some nice kicks, nice punches, nice combinations, I should say, and that's where I was impressed by him. And he clearly won the fight, dominated the fight, in my opinion. Like you said, last round 10-8. But that's what impressed me about Grant Dawson. If he can keep getting better with the striking, sky's the limit with this kid. He's definitely a bright potentially a bright star in the UFC, whatever, one of their better prospects, and um, we'll see where he goes from here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. He's a big guy coming up at 145. And then in the next fight, we had a great submission from Joe Alvarez. He grabbed that guillotine choke. I don't know if we really learned much. I feel like it was kind of one of those things where Joe Duffy got caught.
Yeah.
But it was fucking tight, man. He really was pulling on that neck. And Joe Duffy had no choice but to tap or go out. So
yeah, I don't have anything really to say on that fight. I mean, Joe Duffy was looking good in the first round. I felt like if they would have kept going, Joe Duffy would have ended up winning. He looked really good, fluid on the feet. But he went for that takedown, and dude, he's won I think 6 or 7 fights with the guillotine. That's his, it's not his signature move, but he's had success doing that.
mm-hmm.
And he caught Duffy, put him, choked him out, or made him tap, whatever you want to say. So, not much to say about that.
Yeah, and then in the next fight we had Brett Johns against Montel Jackson. Correct me if I'm wrong. I remember this fight was Montel Jackson definitely won the first round. Johns definitely won the second round.
Yep.
And then Johns just took over in the third.
Yeah.
Pretty clear winner. Johns was just able to kind of stalk him and get those takedowns when he needed to.
That's exactly what happened. Yep. Montel looked good in the first, striking. Second, Brett Johns was able to take him down and kind of control him. And then the third was kind of back and forth, but Johns ended up getting him down and just doing more damage to him. So, yeah, nothing to say on that. I mean, Brett Johns, underdog won. I think it was a pretty big underdog, too.
Yeah.
Plus
yeah,
2 something.
He was +2 something. Either way, good performance. Nothing fluky about it either. He kind of went in there and grabbed the decision.
Yeah.
In the next fight, we had Amir Albazi versus Malcolm Gordon. Put on a great triangle choke. The big talk was there's the first triangle choke of the year. It was a good triangle choke. He legit had him in. I was cooking pasta while this fight was on, so I didn't really see it all. But I saw him lock in that triangle. I'm like, oh shit, that looks tight. Then he locked it in better. I'm like, okay, this fight's over, and he got the tap. It was a great finish for Amir Albazi, and it looks great for him. Again, anytime you're the first at something in a year, that makes you look good, especially when you're a prospect. So I expect to see more from him coming up, and he looked good that whole fight.
Yeah, another impressive prospect. Lower on the list if you're just on this. If you're ranking the prospects coming in and their performances, he's maybe at the bottom of that list, but it was still impressive. And yeah, man, we'll see what ends up happening. I mean, another player at 125, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah,
he's got a long ways to go. I mean, when I say player, I'm saying after multiple fights, but he looked impressive. So the next one, just go ahead and this is the one. My goodness,
Arman Zarukian just absolutely pieced him up. Pieced up Davi Ramos. This is what I will say about Davi Ramos. Just the not as good of a fighter as Zarukian. He was clearly the worst guy in this fight. But I love that, and we need to see this more often. I love that he knew he was down 2 rounds. He really came out swinging despite the obvious, very painful consequences that Zarukian was providing for going out and being reckless. But he knew that he had to get a knockout and win. And I like to see that from a prospect where this guy knows he's losing. He's like, fuck it, man. I'm just going to go out there and swing. If I get knocked out, whatever, I was going to lose the fight anyways. I like seeing that. Some people might call me an asshole, whatever it is. Obviously, I'm not the one in there getting hit, but it looked good. To me, the stock a little bit in Davi Ramos went up in my head. I don't know if it did for the UFC, but Zarukian, enough shine on Ramos for that loss. Zarukian looked amazing. He phenomenal kickboxer. Dude was just, like I said, piecing him up. And landing unbelievable shots like we mentioned earlier. The feints were on par. It was just even whether he was pressuring Ramos in the earlier rounds or getting pressured, he looked phenomenal. He knew he had an answer to everything. I'm excited to see this guy move up.
Yeah, man. And it's funny because what division is he in? 155, man. It's just, I don't know what it is.
Another one.
That fucking division is killer. Killer. It's clearly and easily the best division in the UFC. And it's been like that for a few years now. So, I mean, yeah, he's gonna have to face some killers. But my goodness, man, when I was talking about just in general all of Fight Island, but this card in particular, this guy's at the top of the list on this card. And when it comes to all of Fight Island, he's probably 1, 2,
yeah,
top 3. I'll just say at the very least. Super impressed by this victory by Sarukian and this performance. I mean, the guy is an athlete. I mean, he's plus in striking. He's plus in wrestling. I believe his background just growing up is very good at wrestling. I'm saying he was on the wrestling team and had a lot of success. Was it soccer or something? He played a bunch of sports and he was just a very good athlete his entire career, or his entire life, I should say. And my goodness, I mean, you saw it in this fight. The guy, that first round when he took Ramos down, and Ramos is threatening submissions, you're thinking like, fuck, he's about to get caught. Like he took him down, and then Ramos went for that triangle. And Sarukian was just like, yeah, dude, whatever, just postured up every single time. I mean, this dude, I think it was like 3 attempts in that first round by Ramos where he was trying to lock in that triangle, lock in the arm bar. And naturally I was, whatever, this is separate. I had a little bet on Sarukian. And so I was getting a little nervous, and Sarukian was just like, I mean, he didn't even hesitate. He just fucking postured up, ripped his arm out, whatever it was. He was never in danger. I mean, the striking, amazing. The wrestling, very good. And just the confidence to go against, like I said, with Ramos having that ground game, that jiu-jitsu game, and this dude, most guys would just stood right the fuck up. And he was winning, dude, a couple times, like in the second round, third round, whatever it was, winning and ended up going to, especially in the third round. So he was up clearly 2 rounds to none. And the third round, he was already whooping his ass. And towards the end of the fight, they ended up going to the ground, and he still was like, fuck it, I'm still gonna throw in the clinch. Like he didn't worry about it. And then obviously at the end, then he didn't go down. He ended up standing up and just backing away and let Ramos chase him the last like 10 seconds of the round. But yeah, man, I mean, the confidence is there. The skills are there. The everything, the gas tank, the strength, whatever you want to say, it's all there. And man, the sky is nothing but the limit. The sky is the limit, whatever, fuck I'm trying to say.
Nothing but the limit.
Yeah, again, you know what I'm about to say. It's 11, it's fucking midnight out here.
Yeah,
exactly. I always use
all right, finish off.
My dumbass, yeah, exactly, for my dumbass comments. But yeah, man, I'm really interested to see what ends up happening with this dude and how the UFC fast forwards him through that division. I don't know if they're gonna just try to fucking fast forward him and put him up in that top 15, or if they're gonna do a slow burn with him. But impressed. It's as simple as I can put it.
What's super impressive, before we move on, the last thing I want to say that is even more impressive to me is that he's a freestyle wrestler. That's his background. He's not you would think this man had a few professional kickboxing fights in Glory Kickboxing or whatever, and then moved over. No, this dude, freestyle wrestling is his background. It reminds me of Gaethje and how good his striking is now. Like, and this guy is a more crisp striker than, especially when it comes to the kicks and stuff, than Gaethje is, but not the leg kicks. But either way, my point is that this guy was a freestyle wrestler, and he's so, and I think there's something to be said about that with these wrestlers coming into MMA that are so confident about their ground game that they have the luxury of being so confident on the feet, because it doesn't matter. If I throw a crazy kick and you take me down, go ahead, take me down. I already tried to take me down because I got great defense. So, yeah. Crazy. Big guy coming up. Same thing with Chimaev. Those are the two I'm looking at.
Man, next to Figueiredo, that was the most impressive.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I knew Figueiredo was going to do what he did, and just had to win that fight. But yeah, man. I mean, he had that 10-7 round against Benavidez. Just fucking dominated him, multiple submission attempts, blah blah blah. So Figueiredo, and he wins the title. I'm giving him number one on, for that card in a sense of, impressed. But my goodness, fucking, Sarukian is number 2 on that list. That guy just fucking, I couldn't believe it. I mean, number 2, second fight on the fight card. I mean, that should have been higher up, I mean, with that type of performance.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, super talented guys will have higher up on the list, higher up on the card, I should say. And yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. I was just saying, super impressed by the guy, and just right behind Figueiredo in the sense of most impressive on that card.
Yeah, I mean, he came in and lost that debut fight to Islam Makhachev. So then, then he got a win over, I believe it was a Canadian guy. Let me check.
Sarukian?
Yeah, Zarukian did, yeah. He fought Olivier Aubin Mercier. Yep, Canadian dude. And then he had this fight. So, yeah, hopefully he must have made some. I'll be honest, I didn't see his Islam Makhachev fight, but I'm assuming he's definitely made some improvements since then.
Yeah, you don't even need to watch that. We already know Islam Makhachev is just – he's waiting for Khabib to leave so he can win that title. Because I'm being real, man. I mean, he is that division's so stacked, so I don't know if I should say this. Because I like Charles Oliveira in that division too. But I'm telling you, Makhachev is the guy that everyone sleeps on. No one talks about Makhachev. Dude is a fucking killer, man. Like, I mean, like, legit. The only reason why he's blocked by Khabib. Obviously he's not going to fight Khabib, but I mean, the guy's won whatever. What is he, 14-1 or some crazy shit? He's 18-1. I mean, the guy, he just dominates. He just dominates in the sense of, unanimous decisions. He's not getting a lot of finishes, but he's just fucking dominating.
6 in a row. He's got 6 in a row.
Yeah, he just beat Davi Ramos, so.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. He beat both of them, and then they fought each other. So.
Yeah, no one wants Islam Makhachev. Kevin Lee will tell you he wants him, but you never see the fucking fight booked.
Yeah, so either way, the next fight we had Sergey Spivak. He got a decision victory over Carlos Felipe. That last round was definitely 10-8, and that's really what it was, a majority decision. One of the judges had it 28-28, which is kind of insane. But all the other judges had it 29-27, or the other judges. Not much to say about the fight. Felipe looked good early, and then Spivak kind of just took over. And I like Felipe. I thought Felipe looked decent, but the Spivak was just way too much of a veteran for Felipe.
Yeah, I mean, he ended up just grinding out that victory. If Felipe wasn't able to handle him with the grappling and on the ground, so that's why you got that 10-8 round in the third. So that's it. Spivak won. That's how I'm breaking it down. He won. I mean, there's nothing really to say. They open up the card, 2 heavyweights, anyways. So so overall, let me step in here. Figueiredo versus Benavidez, solid card. On paper it was a little bit weak, but ended up being a pretty good card, which seems to be the theme. Since COVID hit, they've had some quote unquote weak cards, and they end up delivering. So, but Jesus, I mean, next week, man, they're going out with a bang. So it's the last fight on Fight Island. 15 fights on this card. Whereas they've been averaging 12. There's been 12 fights, or 11 with some of the cancellations on the fight card since March. So 15 fights. Card is fucking stacked. So I'm really looking forward to breaking that down on Wednesday, Thursday.
Yep.
and getting our picks out there and shit. But without diving into that, what you got anything else that you wanted to talk about? Any topics or anything like that? That's been going on MMA.
Yeah. So just to close off that card, like you said, sneaky good card. Yeah, not much else to say. It was just a lot of prospects. No one was super recognizable until the co-main and the main. But and obviously Pantoja versus Askarov. But yeah, it was a sneaky good card. These prospects really are showing up and claiming their stake in the UFC.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on, we'll do the. I already know the first thing I want to talk about is Dana White's hesitance to just throw Aljamain Sterling in the title fight with Jan. It literally is something. Am I missing something? Like, I feel like this is above my head or something. Like, it's insane. Like, I feel like everyone knows that's the fight to make, including Moraes himself, who says, yeah, that's a fight to make. And it's literally driving me insane. Like, this guy it's not even like Aljamain is not marketable. This dude is extremely marketable, had a great call out, did the whole pause thing. That was super funny. And he set it up. He called out Jan, assuming he was going to beat Aldo. Jan did beat Aldo. Boom, set it up. It doesn't make any sense to me. This goes back to when they both fought on that Chicago card in 2019. They were talking about fighting then. It was Aljamain or Jan. Who gets the title shot? Now Jan got the title shot, so what's the natural thing to do? Okay, then Aljamain fights Jan in Jan's title defense. But all of a sudden, Moraes is back in the picture. He's already had a title shot. I know he's beaten Aljamain, but he's already had the title shot. He lost, then won a controversial decision over Aldo that even Dana White himself said Aldo won that fight. Aljamain is undeniable at this point.
Yeah, dude, I agree with you 100%. It's insane to me. I don't know what it is, and the other factor too that we've talked about is the Matt Serra angle too. Matt Serra is Dana White's best friend, or one of his friends, one of his best friends, however you want to label it. And he obviously trains Aljamain, and you would just think that there would be some preferential treatment there, but there's not. I mean, at least verbally, and at least in the media, there isn't. And It's insane to me. I agree. I mean, Aljo has everything. He has a skill. He has a personality. He has the following. I don't get it. I think sometimes Dana White likes to fuck with the media.
Me too.
Likes to get them flustered or whatever. And this might be one of those situations or one of those times that he does it, or he's doing this, because it doesn't make any sense for me. I think it's pretty clear cut that Aljo should win, especially after his win over Sandhagen. Sandhagen, they go 3 rounds, whatever, close fight. Maybe it'd be different. But I mean, he ran right through Sandhagen, choked him out in the first round. Came out, had that little viral video with the whole pause thing. He's been very vocal when it comes to Black Lives Matter as well, and so he's been out in the media recently, and so people know him. I see him always that bottom left corner when I'm watching any of the UFCs. I see Aljamain Sterling always pop up. His tweets are always popping up.
Yep.
So obviously giving them a push in that sense too. So I mean, he's out there, man. It makes no sense as to why Dana White's not just coming out and saying, yeah. Shrugging his shoulders and say, yeah, of course, Aljo's getting the next title shot. I don't know what it is. So it's got to be something. Either he's fucking with the media, or maybe there's something behind the scenes when it comes to other potential matchups on the horizon for the UFC that they don't want to fuck up. Maybe it's a contract issue. Maybe they don't just want to give it to him. That could be a big thing. I don't know where he is with his contract. That could be a big thing. Maybe he's on his last fight, going into potentially going into the title fight, which the UFC does not like doing. Or have they ever done it? I don't know.
GSP is the only one, I think.
I'm sure they have, yeah, like the GSP or whatever. But
not when he won the middleweight. Yeah, maybe not, because when he won the middleweight title, he was in the contract. He wrote that he was supposed to fight the winner of Whitaker versus I don't remember who it was, but I think
Really?
it was Yoel. Whitaker Yoel, the first one.
Really?
What?
I said, really? It
Yeah.
was. Oh, wow.
Yeah, Whitaker Yoel fought for the interim title when Bisping and GSP fought, and it was in GSP's contract that if he won, he was supposed to fight the winner of that fight, but he obviously ended up retiring. And
Yeah.
White said that as soon as he retired, he's like, "This is why we put in the contract. I knew this would happen." Either way, yeah, I agree with Aljamain Sterling. I think the only thing that I can think of, maybe it's that contract thing, or going along the lines of the contract, would just be a leverage thing. That way, Aljamain doesn't have as much leverage. He's still kind of begging the UFC for
Yeah.
the title shot instead of if the UFC goes out there and says, "Yeah, Aljo's the fight to make," then they're bound to that, and Aljo has kind of the power when he walks into that negotiation room.
Yeah.
Other than that, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense, I guess, in that. So then they just use Moraes to saying, "Hey, if you're going to try to ask for more money, we'll just throw Moraes in the title shot." Whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. All I know is I think the fans are all on board. I don't think there. Obviously the majority of the people of MMA fans, I should say, is feel like it should be Jan versus Sterling. I mean, shit, they were bitching. Even Aldo was in there. They felt like shit. They were bitching that Jan was in there. They felt like Sterling should have been. I know you being one of them. So yeah, it'd be a atrocity if Aljo doesn't get in there and fight Jan next. But I think he will. I think that's going to end up being the fight anyways. I think Dana White is just fucking with the media and fucking with the fans. I just don't know how you don't make that fight. So
I agree. The other thing we're going to talk about was Paulo Costa versus Adesanya. How Dana White said that's not final yet, despite what Combate said. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I love the fight. I do think it ends up happening. I think it was just kind of Dana White covering his ass.
I think real quick to cut you off, I think Dana was more talking about it taking place on the September 13th or whatever. Is it the 13th? I don't know. Whatever it is, it's 253.
Yeah,
taking place in September. So that's what I think he was disputing. Not that they're going to fight. It's already known that it's Costa versus Adesanya. I think he was saying on that card that would be the fight on that card.
He was just talking about the fight being finalized. He said that both fighters have not signed.
Yeah, but I mean, they're fighting though. We all know that they're fighting each other. There's no other option.
That's the fight offered. He's saying because Combate said it's finalized. This is happening on this date, and Dana White said no. Both fighters haven't signed the contract yet. Then a reporter asked him what fighter hasn't signed their contract, and he said, "I'm not." He just said it doesn't matter. Both fighters haven't signed their contract. That's all that matters. Yeah. The fight isn't finalized, and I think the reason he did that is because in a week, if he were to say, "Yeah, it is finalized," and then one of them doesn't sign it, then everyone's like, "Hey, I thought you said it was finalized." So I think it's more just covering his ass.
Well, I think it's a Nurmagomedov issue too. I mean, that's we all know. I mean, let's not be casuals here. Like we all know that they're fighting each other. That's already established. It's Costa versus Adesanya.
Yeah.
When are they fighting? I think that's what Dana White is. That's what he's disputing is that they're saying it's finalized for the September, and it's not. And I think part of that reason why he doesn't, is because of Nurmagomedov. He's gonna, if it is finalized for September, if he's like, yeah, Combate was right with September, then now he's got to answer all the questions about Nurmagomedov, and that's a whole nother fucking thing, can of worms, because September will be a year since he defended his title. So they really don't go too much further than a year if you're not defending your title. Obviously, these are different circumstances with his father passing away. But then you get into the weeds of like, all right, now what happens? Is he retiring? Is he just on a little hiatus? And do we just have Justin Gaethje fight someone else for the real belt? And Nurmagomedov, like, you're not going to strip Khabib. So he's still the champ. There's no way they strip Khabib. You can't do that. So, I mean, what do you do? And I think Dana White doesn't want to field those questions.
Yeah, I had a conversation with someone on Twitter about this. Real quick, I just want to make it. I disagree if you think it's the date thing. Uh, I could totally be wrong, but I don't think that has.
You're wrong, dude. Now you're frustrating me with this shit. Like
Not the date.
no, listen. What I'm saying is, yes, they haven't signed. I believe that, but that fight isn't in question. That's what I'm trying to get at. Like, do you think it's in question? You're saying that Adesanya might fight someone else? No, I would bet my life.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying Dana White, like you're making it out to be like, oh, Dana White doesn't want to confirm that. It has nothing to do with the date. The date isn't the problem. The contract was sent to both of them, and the on the contract for both of them it says that date. So if they both sign, that's the date. So Dana White is only saying, hey, both fighters haven't signed, so this isn't finalized. And maybe you're right. Maybe he's just saying.
So technically, it's not. I guess what I'm trying to say is what Karen was getting at, or whoever the reporter was that asked it, because I think Karen asked it too on ESPN Plus. So there's someone else that asked it the post fight. So two separate people. But what I'm saying is, like, they're saying it's on that date. They're saying so it's Khabib versus, that's the day. Khabib versus Justin Gaethje is on that day. 253. It's headline. Boom, set. Already done. UFC already confirmed it. UFC, DC versus Stipe in August. Then it's Khabib versus Justin Gaethje. Well, now hang on. But now Kabache is saying that the headliner. Well, I don't know if they said the headliner, but they just said that now Adesanya versus Costa is going to be on that card. That's what they're saying. That's what they're reporting. That it's done, boom, finalized, whatever Kabache is saying. Dana White's like, no, it's not finalized. Which you're right, technically it's not finalized. I bet you they didn't sign it. But the big thing what these reporters are technically getting at, and maybe I'm reading too much into it, is they're saying like, hey, are these guys targeted for September 13th or UFC 253? Is that like Kabache is saying that's who's going to fight in that card? It's targeted for that. Is that what's going on? Dana White's like, I don't need to answer that question. All I need to say is it's not finalized.
Yes.
That's all he's saying. So he's not even answering the main question that these guys are getting at. The main question is, hey, are you targeting UFC 253 for these two fighters? Dana White's like, I don't want to answer that, because if I answer that, then it's a snowball effect. Now I have to talk about Khabib and what's going to happen. Because then, hey, is Khabib retiring? Is he still fighting? What's going on with his dad? All this shit. Well, hang on a second. Then you have the other, segment of the population saying, well, he hasn't defended his title in a year. Like, are you guys going to strip him? So Dana White doesn't want to go down that road and have to answer.
Agree.
Yeah.
But my point is, I don't think – I almost feel like those are irrelevant to each other. I feel like the UFC only said we're targeting September for Khabib Gaethje. That's usually when they never finalize anything.
Yep, that was set, 100%.
It wasn't set. It wasn't set. No, it wasn't set. They were talking about hopefully we can get this in on September. We're targeting September. That's all that was said. We're targeting September. That's usually when Khabib comes back. September. Now they didn't get it. They weren't able to get it in September.
Yeah.
I agree. I think there's more behind the scenes, and that's why they have this Costa Adesanya stepping in for that September. I think there's definitely something going on with Khabib. There's probably an answer. I doubt I agree, and that's what I want to get into right after this. I just wanted to finish this Costa Adesanya. Say that all I'm saying is, I don't think it's an issue of if that date is in question. I don't think that date's in question. I think it's more. I don't think the fight's in question either. I think Dana White, like you said, maybe it was to avoid a Khabib question, but he's just all Dana White was saying is you guys reported this as though it's final. Adesanya can say, hey, I hurt, or I'm not fighting because of COVID or whatever it is, and not sign that because it's not signed yet. I think that's all that's happening. Either way, we don't even have to get more into it. But yeah, it's all.
Okay, I hear you on that.
Yeah, so pretty much after we just talked about that, we had about an hour and a half discussion about Khabib, Conor McGregor possibly filling in for Gaethje or for Khabib if Khabib is going to retire or just take some time off due to his father. We decided to clip that off. It was a super great discussion, debate, mainly on Conor McGregor. And yeah, we hope you guys do listen to that. It's going to be released as a bonus episode. Other than that, we're just going to close off this reaction to Figueiredo versus Benavidez fight night card, as well as that little discussion about Costa and Adesanya's fight coming up in Aljamain Sterling. Hope you guys enjoyed. As always, thank you to Tyrell Brown for creating this artwork right behind my beautiful face. And go follow him at Cloud City Cartel on Instagram. As always, the links and promotions that we talk about in this will be in the show notes. Also follow Alex Weisshaar, who you'll hear his music right after I'm done talking and before I start talking at the beginning of this podcast. You can go follow him at Alohi on SoundCloud. Subscribe to the Fringe Faction on YouTube. They're a sponsor of ours. We appreciate their support. And we support them. They're a group of funny guys. I'm one of them. And we just make some funny videos. And it's a good thing to watch if you ever have time to pass. If you ever want to make a podcast, go to anchor.fm. We thank you to them for being our platform that we release our podcasts on. And yeah, that's all I have, I think, for shout outs and thank yous and all that.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, well, appreciate the discussion, me and Gene.
Yeah, we'll talk to everyone Wednesday or Thursday of next week.
Yep, definitely.
All right.
Thank you. It's been a long night here, so peace.
Peace.